and he is also senior faculty member from VPKBIT. So, PC sir, are you there? PC sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So, I welcome PC sir to this innovative teaching learning method 1 week workshop.
Stay
So,
unmuted, sir. This is sir, stay unmuted.
Topic of sir session is online protected exam. Does it really works? And I would like to take this opportunity to introduce PC sir. So, sir completed his BE from Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Institute of Engineering and Technology, Nanded in 2010. He also completed ME in Alternate Hydro Energy System from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee in 2012. And now he is pursuing his PhD in Marine Technology from Newcastle University, United Kingdom. He has 3.5 years experience in the project planning and management engineering and design consultancy for hydropower and infrastructure development project. He has 4 years of teaching experience. He handled many responsibilities, so I mentioned few of them. He has worked on several water resources and infrastructure development projects as a design engineer at international level. He acted as liaison officer for various intergovernment projects in Central Africa and South Asia on behalf of Ministry of Water Resource and Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. So thank you, sir. I request PC sir to start the session. With this short introduction, I request PC sir to start the session. Please, sir, over to you.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and good morning to everyone.
Yes, sir. Screen is visible.
Yes. So today I'm going to talk about online proctored exam. All of us know that due to this pandemic, we are unable to take our traditional approach towards our examination. So now there is new technology we have to adopt, which is called online proctored exam. But does it really work? So we are going to see some points here. The first point is, what is cheating? Okay, why do students cheat? How they cheat, and what we can do to manage it. So I intentionally use word manage. I'm not talking about prevention or stop or avoiding. We are trying to manage, just like the coronavirus. We cannot treat the COVID-19 virus, but we can manage its symptoms. Same thing like here. We're trying to manage cheating in online exams. So what is cheating? So the Penn State University says academic integrity is the pursuit of scholarly activity in an open, honest, and responsible manner. So you can see there are two cartoons I used. Okay, so as a teacher, our job is to teach. So we teach. Okay, but most of the things nowadays, students and a lot of political pressure or government, they're talking about why should we take exams? So just simply pass them and take them to the next level. So you will see this card is quite informative about that. The other thing is we have to tell or we have to convince a student that cheaters will never ever going to prosper in their life. Okay, they might get good marks in this year, but never in their career and eventually in their personal life also. So what is dishonesty? So dishonesty means some student or few students get unfair advantage. They get unpermitted collaboration. Students receive help from other sources. Then this is a very vast topic about plagiarism. And I'm unfortunate to say that in India, we don't take plagiarism that much serious unless it is a PhD or something. But there's another thing, not students on work, reuse of students on work. So most of students, they do the same assignment again and again and again. Okay, they don't even change. So that's called self-plagiarism. Now, why do students cheat? So there's a totally different definitions of cheating. Okay, now we already are all of our teachers, so we know what is cheating is. But now we have to see through, or we have to look through our students' perspective. Why students think cheating is not cheating basically. So they think it's just helping each other. That means, sharing is caring. Sometimes most students, they're doing it and have a copy of test. They think it's okay. What they do, they took their exam with them, or they take a photo, or they write some other exam. And sometimes when we have a project or mini project or assignments, okay, they think it is not going to come in the university mark sheet, so it's not cheating. Again, when they copy something, they search online, they find something interesting, they find something useful, they just copy and paste it. They think it's not cheating. Then they also use their own work. Okay, you must have seen a lot of times the same thing. They use the same answers for all the questions. Okay, they have the set answer, and whatever question they get, they use the same answer to all the same kind of questions. Now, what are the reasons for students to be dishonest about their academics? So first thing, lack of research or citation skills. So they don't know how to do research, or they don't know how to cite other people's work. Okay, how to give the other people credit for their own work. Lack of understanding of assignment. Sometimes they don't understand the question, or they don't understand what is need to be done for the assignment. Obviously, plagiarism. So most of the times they don't even know that they did the plagiarism. There are some corporate laws. Okay, if you are using images or photos from some newspaper or maybe some from book, it's against the corporate law. Okay, so as you can see, I use the cartoons. Okay, those cartoons come under the Creative Commons law. Okay, which is actually open to use for anyone. So those are also there are also some corporate laws which we need to imply. And they did not understand it was cheating. Most of the case is the same thing. Okay, they simply don't understand it's cheating. So as a teacher, we have to teach them what is the difference between cheating and what is not. Then this is the old trick. All tests are available. Okay, so what they do, they just simply take last 50 years or last 10 years question papers, solve all those question paper, and practice it, and ready for our new exam. Sometimes they are just lazy. Okay, they want to do something easy. Sometimes it is for their scholarship, their funding. Okay, they maybe want to go to higher education somewhere else. Okay, or they might be competing for their jobs. Okay, the interesting 2 points, the last 2 points are: faculty do not recognize it. As a faculty, as a teacher, it's our job to recognize, to identify the cheating. Okay, and most of the time, since we don't get this kind of training when we join our institute as a teacher, we are unaware that these are the forms of cheating. And also, again, since we are working for a private institute, maybe understaffed, so we have to do a lot of work, not only teaching but research, some administration work, and other works also. So sometimes we do little or nothing to prevent the cheating. Okay, or we just don't want to ruin our students' life or their career, so we just reluctant to take any action. So those are the basically reasons for academic dishonesty. Now, how do students cheat? So these are the common excuses we get from students, and most of you have already faced or heard of this excuse. Okay, they say dog ate my homework and then he died. Okay, so it's not literal they say, but sometimes they say, okay, there was a flood, or there was a fire, or I was traveling, okay, and I lost my home assignment, something like homework or assignment. So those are the some excuses. So as a teacher, we should be skeptical about our student, but we should not never be cynical. Okay, we should always give the benefit of doubt to our students and try to figure out or try to find out what are the real reason or difficulties our students faced to not to do the homework. Nowadays, they blame the technology. Okay, sir, I sent it, but I don't know what's happened. Okay, or they might send some file which is corrupt, so we cannot open from our side. Okay, sometimes they say, sir, my laptop got virus, my mobile got virus, I have to format it and I lost everything. Okay, sometimes when during the online exam, they say, sir, I accidentally pressed submit. So like after 5 minutes or after 10 minutes, they just press submit to. Okay, and they say, sir, I accidentally press submit. Then dishonest collaboration. Okay, so they share, recycle, distribute work. Nowadays, as extent, technology is quite advanced. Okay, there is an app called Discord. Okay, where they actually can share their screen with their friend. Okay, so they just share their screen with friend, and the friend share his screen with other friend. So it's like group. Okay, and they take exam in a group. Okay, so everyone can see what they are doing or what are the questions they are answering. Yeah, they use past assignment. They use ideas without creating source. So sometimes they come with the answer or come with the solution which is already available or which is already solved by someone else, okay, and which is available on internet, and they just use as it is, nothing changed. Okay, so that is not a honest answer. Now this is the next level cheating, called extreme cheating. So where they do the texting, because nowadays texting is free. Okay, they just use WhatsApp or Telegram or Signal, whatever the messaging app they have. Sometimes they just have iPad, tablet. Okay, they just upload their content, and some other students they download. So it's something we can see a lot of things that happen with the IT and computer. They just have Slack. I think that's the messenger name. They use that Slack, and they upload their part of code and just copy and paste, or just reuse the same code for again and again. Okay, and this is again hacking into network and system. So it is not hard to just how to hack or how to so because there are a lot of free courses called ethical hacking, but we don't know if understand it and they are using for ethical purpose or not. But they have the skills now to hack into network system. Now, if you Google it, or if you go to YouTube and just type it, okay, how to cheat or how to, school or exam, okay, just use the keyword and you will find hundreds of videos showing different tricks how to cheat. Okay, so you will see that that's why many of the institutes they have banned using YouTube in their institute. Okay? The students cannot use YouTube. This is the reason that we should not allow students to use YouTube. Now, this is a good question for all our teachers. That what do you think? Cheating is more likely in online courses, like our traditional approach? If you think yes, then what are the reasons? Can I come up with at least 2 reasons? So this is just a food for your thought. Now, online students have less commitment to the integrity of distance programs than traditional programs. Okay, that is conclusion of a research paper by Bell and Welling. That is in 1991. Okay, it's not just recent; it's going on from quite 2 or 3 decades. Now, what the expert says: if an online course and assessments are well designed, cheating will not be a significant problem. Okay, so we had to come with the strategies. So if a students getting smart, then teachers should be getting smarter. Okay, we have to stay one step ahead of them. Now, these are some assumptions we make as a teacher. Cheating is students' fault. Okay, online courses compared to face-to-face courses are easier to cheat and cheating more likely. But you have to understand, cheating is just nature. Okay, or it's unawareness. Okay, it's not something is easy or hard, but it's if students want to cheat, they are going to cheat. Proctor testing, okay, that can decrease cheating, but it's not going to like 100% proof. Okay, even in offline exams, students don't cheat. Okay, and it should start from their early age, like they have 4 or 5 years of age. That's where they should be starting. That's for parents to teach. Okay, cheating is wrong. Okay, so that's why I have this cartoon here. Now, the more distant people feel, the more likely they are to cheat. Okay, so we have to make sure that we, as our teachers and the students, are at the same level. Okay, so if you see in the Western countries, the teachers supposed to be on the lower level and students are supposed to be higher level, or when during the lecture hall, or at least at the same level. But in India, we have exactly opposite. Teachers are always on the desk and students are on the ground floor, something like that. So that makes a huge difference. Okay, that makes students and teachers are like a very big gap. We have to minimize that gap. We have to make sure our students feel comfortable with us, or we can say friendly with us. Okay, so that they can come with the problems, the difficulties to us, so we can help them and prevent them to do cheating. Now, in good old days, the students used to come to the classroom with a paper, pen, and write their answers. Okay, but now in the information age, everything is online. Okay, and sometimes I say it's teacher's fault or it's our fault that we always say, okay, go to this website, you will find that answer. Okay, go to Google it and you will answer. You find the answer. Just students, their brain get trained like that way, and they just start doing the same thing even for the exam. Okay, now what's changed in the old days and the new age? So ease of cheating, ease of monitoring cheating, and ease of preventing cheating. But what has not changed is definition of cheating. Okay, the honor code policies and procedures. So whatever our university has a mandate or guidelines on cheating, it hasn't changed. Okay, so student assessment quality, validity, and reliability it's not changed. It's still as it is. Okay, now we really need proctor testing. Okay? Yes, we do need, but not for all the courses. Okay, there are some courses, even university has some courses that are called audit courses. Okay, which don't have any examination. Okay, so we don't need proctor testing for those. Yeah, if it's like more like competitive exam for higher studies or a job, yeah, we should be using proctor test. Okay, there are also the important part about remote students and local students. Remote students means like since due to this lockdown or this pandemic cannot come to the campus, we have to take our exam to them. Okay, if they cannot come to campus to take the exam, then we have to take the exam to them. So that's why in that case we need the online proctored exam. Now these are some tips which will be useful for you when you take the online proctored exam test. So decide the exam time before the course start. So like during your first session or first lecture of the course, you should explain and you should inform all your students that okay, you are going to have 2 exams, one midterm, one end term. Okay, each exam will have MCQ type questions. Okay, or like those things. Okay, you have to inform them everything in advance. Okay, and you keep them reminding. Okay, you advise early and often. Okay, so you have to remind them again and again. Okay, maybe after 1 month, after 15 days or something like that. Okay, keep reminding them that you have exam and the exam scheme is like this. Okay, so that they will be prepared for their exam. Now, what are the keys for success in online exam? So provide clear instructions, okay, and use a large question bank. So if you have like 100 student, okay, and you're going to take the exam for 50 marks, 50 questions, so you should have at least 5 times more questions than that. Okay, so if you have 50 marks question for 50 questions, then your question bank should be have at least 250 questions. Okay, so randomized exam for each student. So I know it's difficult, but you can make batches. Okay, so like you can randomly select students and make like 4 batches or 5 batches. Okay, and each batch will get different question paper. Okay, and now, as I told you, it's difficult to prevent or avoid cheating. What we are going to do, we are going to acknowledge open book system. Okay, you can say, hey, this is the open book system, you can use any book you like. Okay, but now we have to be smart and we have to find or make a questions so that they cannot find in any book. Okay, they can use their books as a reference but not copy from the book. You can set time limits on password. Okay, so unless they type their own password, the exam cannot open. Okay, so if the exam paper is circulated with other students, you can see who was the responsible. Okay, where it was leaked. Okay,
PC
so
sir,
yes, sir.
it is gentle request to speak louder and it will be clearer then.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so make exam available for longer period. Sometimes what we do, we have exams for like 1 hour. Okay, it's perfectly fine for MCQs. But if you are taking subjective type questions, question paper, then you should give more times. Okay, because they have to write on paper and they have to scan and then they have to upload. So you should give more time as mentioned in the university exams. The plan for technical failure before the exam. So it is highly recommended that you should take the exam first. As a teacher, you should take the exam first and see what are the technical difficulties you face during the exam, so that you will be aware of all those problems and you can help or you can solve those problems for your students. Again, give reminders to your students again and again, okay, more frequently. Now, what are the key success for proctored exam? So adopt college-wide process whenever possible. Okay. Otherwise, what will happen? Your department has different policy, other department have different policy, or you are, as a subject teacher, you are taking exam differently, and others teachers of the other subject teachers taking exam differently. Students get confused. Okay, and they are not cope with this confusion. Why? Because they're already under the stress with the exam. So they simply want uniformity. Okay, so you should adopt a college-wide or institute-wide same process. Again, provide clear instructions. Request proctor exam choice early. Okay, so you can ask your students, would you like to go for a subject type question paper or would you like to go for MCQ type question? Okay, whatever they feel comfortable, you can take a poll and choose your exam accordingly. Okay, and if students get any difficulties, if they face any difficulty or problem for the exam, they should contact proctor or examiner in advance. Okay, they cannot simply tell after the exam that I faced this problem or that was the issue. Okay, it is not be done. Then provide a range of exam dates and time. Okay, sometimes now this pandemic has to go, sometimes a vaccination or maybe for testing, or maybe some students are already quarantined. Okay, or they are taking treatments or they're taking care of their family member. So you have to be flexible with the exam dates. But again, then we have to take the you have to make the different question paper for those students. Again, plan for the technical failure before the exam. So you have to show your students that how exam works. Okay, you can take a review lecture and you can show them, okay, this is the mobile phone, this is the app, or this is the exam you are going to take and you are going to face. these problems and how to solve those problems. Okay? Now, online proctored exams have done be a very big savior for education sector. Okay, but how does proctored exam ensure cheat proof? Okay, now we are going to see the practical knowledge or practical things or hands-on things we can use in the online proctored exam. So types of common cheating techniques in online examination system. So impersonation, like a student is not a student. Okay, someone else is taking exam on behalf of him. Okay, external like help. So someone is sitting next to him and helping him. Okay, using digital services. So he might be using internet to find the solution. Okay, old school try. Just look through the book or just call your friend and ask them. The cover ups. Okay, so they basically cover. They basically come with the cheating scheme, and they just cover is that okay. I was not aware of it. Okay, so just cover their mistakes. Now, how we can eliminate this common cheating techniques? So, in the online proctored exam, we should take the candidate authentication. So we might use Aadhaar card or we might use PAN card. Okay? Ask them to put it in here and then OTP or maybe face recognition or some biometrics. So when I was in IIT, we used to use like biometrics. So it was in 2010, 2012. We had our fingerprint scan and we were using that technique. Okay. Or audio video. Okay. So we have to have live audio and video. So turn on your camera, turn on your mic, okay, and keep it turned on. Then a real-time recording, you can record all entire their whole exam. Okay, there should be some cheat alert. Say something other person come in front of the camera, it get alerted. Okay, there is some noise going on, so it get alerted. Okay, or if he cheated like or if he has like violated any of this norm, then exam automatically get ended. Okay, so that should be the option. Now, what are the types of cheating techniques during the examination? So what they can do during the examination? So use of external devices again. Okay, so what they have two mobile phones. Okay, one mobile phone for to take the exam, one mobile phone for speaking with their friends or search. Screen sharing. So as I told you, there is a software called Discord. Okay, they use Discord to share their screen, or they can just simply copy and paste. Okay, or use Bluetooth headphones. Okay, since we asked them to keep their mic on, so they might be using Bluetooth headphones with noise cancellation or something like that. So everything is linked to their online browsing. Now, how we can eliminate these cheating techniques during examination? So we can use restricted function of keyboards. So they can Control C, Control P, just like online banking. Okay, you cannot use Control C, Control P, or you cannot right click for copy or paste. So we can use the restricted function of keyboard and mouse. Browsing limitation. So they cannot use any other browser or they cannot use any other tab. Okay, they cannot change tab. Disability of external ports. So they cannot use any external port to copy from their pen drive or something. And they cannot have alternate access. So the exam can be only done once or at one instant. Okay, they cannot open the same exam from two different location or two different devices. Now, what are the checks we can do whenever we are going to select a remote proctoring software or tool? So it should have a candidate authentication. It should have audio, video, live streaming, as well as recording. AI feature to detect suspicious activity or behavior. So they can take the snapshot of their screen, or they take a photo of the person, or they can record a 10-second or 20-second of audio clip, okay, as evidence. Browsing limitation, it should have browsing limitation. It should have timer for each question. Okay, I'm not talking about the entire exam, but each question. Okay, then there should be a speak this function. Okay, constant webcam monitoring, and obviously it should be cost effective. Okay. Now, this is something extra we can get from the online proctored exam tool or software. You can ask, okay, if it's within your budget, you can get it. Otherwise, it's something you can have, add on. The test report and little exam score analysis. Our institute has already prepared an Excel sheet, so we use for test report and little exam analysis. So we can see how students performed in the exam, what are the questions they skipped, okay, or what are the questions they got wrong, okay, or what are the questions they got correct, okay. So we can do the analysis of our own exam paper. So these are some top online exam and assessment platform. So Mercer and Pearson VUE, so first and 13 is the most popular among corporate and also institutes, but they are not cheap. So you can go with Examinity or Speed Exam, which is compared to other websites, they are cheaper. Now these are the further references you can go and look for the best one. In our civil engineering department, we tried and we used AutoProctor, which is a Google Form add-on, okay, which is basically a timer plus AI proctoring. There's another Pilgo. The AutoProctor is Indian, so it's a little bit cheaper than Pilgo. So we used AutoProctor. Now this is something I want to say to all students, is basically they have to understand that whatever they cheat here is going to be way much worse when they are doing their job, okay, in real life. And I think that's enough for me. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please do ask.
Very much thank you, sir. Excellent session. Now the participants are welcome for some question answers. I think there are no questions. So Bhoiti madam, can you give vote of thanks? Yes, madam. Bhoiti madam.
Yes, sir. So thank you, PC sir, for such an excellent session. Sir explained many aspects of cheating, what is the psychology behind the cheating, and sir explained it is not a fault, it is a nature. Okay. So types of cheating in online mode also sir explained. Sir explained very well what are the tips and keys for success in online examination, how we can avoid the cheating in online examination, so we can set the paper, give the question bank an ample number of questions, and many more tips shared by you. So definitely I think it is useful because it is in the pandemic situation, we have to conduct online examination, students are at home, so it is a very essential topic, and most of the times we are uh, required all these things to conduct the exam. So thank you, sir, for such nice and excellent session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.